Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in for another video. Today we have two of arguably the most popular reels out there in the market. We have the Stradic FM and the Tatula MQLT. Quick disclaimer before we begin the video, just want to share that both of these reels have been purchased by me, Shimano and Daiwa. They're not paying me anything to make these videos. These reels have both been funded by myself. And this channel will continue to be so. So I just wanted to make a quick disclaimer before we get into today's video. When I first put this video into pre-production, the only thing that I could think about was really a battle between two major companies. We have Shimano and we have Daiwa. Both reels have been excellent, popular lines, and by far probably the most purchased and most popular reels in the two major brands, Shimano and Daiwa. Shimano has been obviously making a Stradic for many, many years. The Tatula has been out for many years, not as long as the Stradic, but this is probably one of the longest lines of reels that they have in the $200 market that Daiwa has consistently come out with, and same thing with Shimano here. So Shimano and Daiwa have been out for a very long time, and they continue to kind of innovate and make their reels and rods super durable, and you just can't kind of keep improving them year after year. I have had the pleasure of fishing the Stradic for about almost a year now. I actually had picked this reel up in August of last year, right before my North Dakota trip last year, and I've had the Tatula MQ for about 5 to 6 months now. I had actually picked up this reel right around the Bass Pro Classic, so that was about maybe 6 months ago. So to make it the most fair comparison, both of these are 2500 size. And my personal experiences with it, everyone might have different experiences with it, but this is my personal opinion on these two reels and my experience with it. So let's talk about the similarities first, and we'll kind of talk into the differences and what makes them different. A couple of similarities. The biggest thing that you notice is that they kind of feature the same kind of little knobs here for the handle. This is pretty much ideally the same design, and then obviously the 3000 size, they come with the paddle or the T, whatever you want to call it. I like to refer it to as the paddle. They don't offer a anti-reverse, so if you like to back reel fish, it doesn't have that ability. It doesn't really pertain to me because I don't do that. But that is something that if is important to you, just know that these reels don't offer the anti-reverse. The other thing that makes these two reels similar is that they are both salt water friendly. So you can use them for saltwater applications if you are fishing saltwater. But for me, I live in Wisconsin, and so I won't even really matter to me, I guess, at all. Both of these reels are coming in at $200, so they retail the same price. I picked this up for full retail, and because it just came out when I purchased it, and then I had actually used a coupon and I bought it for I think $160, I believe, during the classic sale. So, but again, I'm not treating it as a $160 reel. I'm thinking about it, hey, if I bought it for obviously $200, because I think that's again making the fairest comparison between the two reels. The other thing that I notice about these reels that make them very similar is that they don't have any play in the handle. And that is really, really important for me. If you kind of look at this right here, and as I hold the spool, there is no wiggle room at all on this reel. I mean, that's just, again, really solid build. Same thing with the Stradic. No movement at all in the handle, no play in the handle, which I think is very important. The last thing that I want is to have any kind of loose parts and something like that. So kudos to Shimano and Daiwa for making a very durable product. Now let's talk about the biggest differences between these two reels, and that's really the buildup of what they're made out of. The Stradic FM is made out of a Hagane body, which is basically a full metal sheet construction, whereas the Tatula MQ is made out of a Zion body. And if you're not familiar with the Zion body, that is basically Daiwa's proprietary blend of different materials and high resin to make the material that they use, that they call Zion, into their reels. The other big difference too that you'll notice is that it's in the name. The Daiwa Tatula, it offers the MQ And the MQ basically stands for monocoque. And if you're not familiar with what that is, it basically means that it's a one-piece solid construction. And if you look at it closely, the thing that you can see is that there is absolutely no screw that holds one side of the body to the other side of the body. And what that does is it eliminates any kind of unnecessary screws and areas that kind of hold the pieces together, and that creates more space for the actual reel and for the gears. Whereas if you have something like this, if you look closely here, there's actually like a little line right here, and that line is basically where this side plate meets the other side plate, and there's actually a screw right here that holds the two sides together. So again, when you have the screws here, you have to compensate for the screw going in, and you got to drill it out, and then so on and so forth. And whereas here, you can kind of shave that off and kind of shave some of that excess unnecessary room there to create more room for a bigger gear, and also to make it lighter, which the Tatula MQ is exceptionally a lot lighter. I think this way it comes in at like 6.7 ounces, whereas this comes in a little over 7 ounces, 7.3 I believe is what this comes in at. So big differences when it comes in terms of weight, and I think that's where the Tatula MQ actually shines, is the weight. The other thing too you notice is that LT is in a name, which basically means it's light tough. So again, you got not only is it very durable, but it's also lighter. Whereas the Stradic offers the Infinity X Cross, which basically just kind of creates more surface contact where the gears touch, so it kind of makes it smoother, and also puts less stress on the actual gears itself, because of the more surface area for the gears to kind of catch on to, which is something that a lot of the Shimano reels are moving towards. The other big difference is going to be in the line capacity. The Stradic, I should say Shimano in general, Shimano has always had, in my honest opinion, struggles with putting good line capacity in their reels, where Daiwa does a really good job of making sure that you can put a lot of line on these spools. The Tatula MQ can hold 240 yards of nylon, which is basically like a monofilament, monofilament material. The Stradic FM can only hold about 140. So big difference. Is it important to you? I guess that's a personal preference, but for me, I definitely think it is. That's why I always go 3,000 size when I talk about Shimano reels. I just happen to pick up 2,500 in here, but if you look at my channel and what I fish, all my other reels that I have are 3,000 size. I guess it really depends on preference. What you prefer is what you like, but for me, I think that's where the Tatula kind of shines, is having that deeper spool, which allows you to have more line on your actual spinning reel. Both of these reels come in 5 different models. This one comes in 1,000 size all the way up to 5,000, whereas the Tatula MQ only offers 1,000 and 4,000, but it does offer 2 different speeds in 3,000. So 5 different models, but 2 the same for the 3,000, and it doesn't come in a 5,000 size. So just something to kind of keep in mind if you're looking to kind of get a 5,000. Well, that's only available in the Stradic FM itself. Now, when casting these two reels and fishing over the last couple months, one thing that I did notice about the Stradic that I prefer over the Tatula MQ is just how smooth this reel is, and how much better casting I can do with it. I was able to cover more applications with the Stradic FM than I was the Tatula MQ. I feel like I was able to cast lighter lures a little bit better too as well. I think that has to do with the line capacity. The lesser the line capacity, the easier it is to cast lighter lures, just like how it is with big cast setups too as well. Where this one shined was throwing anything over a quarter ounce, whereas anything under a quarter ounce, I was specifically going with the Stradic. So this reel paired very, very well with a lot of the lighter rods. So if you're throwing medium light, medium action, medium power rods that are lighter, the Tatula MQ is going to pair very, very well with it, just because it's so light. I found myself picking this up a lot and pairing it with my Orochi X10 on the Medusa. I was throwing a lot of jerk baits on it. I was throwing some drop shots on it. I feel like this is really good for the lighter rods because of how sensitive Sorry, and it's because how light it is and how well it balances with some of those light rods that aren't very tip heavy. Stradic FM, I'm not saying that it doesn't pair well with lighter rods, but it definitely is heavier and you can feel it when you're holding it. So something to consider if you are wanting to if balance in a spinning rod is super important to you, which it should be, especially if you're drop shotting. I think that's super important. Then that's something to consider when you're kind of talking about these two spinning reels. In terms of drag, both of these reels had excellent drag. I don't think one was better than the other. I think both drags, they did very, very well. They're both very two strong workhorses. There's nothing that I would say that this reel outperformed this one when it came to reeling in fish. I think both handled very well. They have a very smooth drag, a very nice audible clicking drag as well. And so kudos to Shimano and Daiwa for obviously providing really good drags for these two reels, because they're just power horses. One thing that I did notice too as well on these reels is that if you look at the Stradic, the spool of this, the diameter of the spool of the Stradic is a lot wider than the diameter of the Tatula. Not sure if that has to do again with the whole casting performance thing when it came to throwing lighter lures better with the Stradic versus Tatula MQ. But one thing that I noticed after fishing both, and I was like, okay, I was getting a little bit better casting distance with the Stradic and a little bit better casting with lighter lures. I figured that I was like, let me kind of just take a look at it, and that's the thing that I noticed is that the diameter of the Stradic is, again, like I said, a lot wider than the diameter of the Tatula MQ. So something to kind of consider, think about. And when I say light, guys, I'm throwing, I was throwing, when I fished in Milwaukee Rivers here, I weighed a lot. And so I'm throwing like these light tubes that I have. And these light tubes are very, very light. They're very, very small tubes. And, again, I didn't have any problem throwing it with a Stradic. I did have some problems throwing with the Tatula MQ. So something, again, just to kind of think about when it comes to these two reels. So, my overall question I get all the time is, hey, which one do I think is better? And for me, in my honest opinion, I definitely believe that they are both really good reels, but I do really prefer the Stradic over the Tatula MQ. In my honest opinion, again, there's pros and cons in each, but I really like the Stradic FM. I think that for me, performance is really, really crucial. This reel is still only heavier by a little bit, whereas this is, when I talk about reels and that kind of nature, the thing that matters to me is performance. And if I'm not getting the performance that I could, that I need, I think, I got to look elsewhere. And I feel like if I'm kind of limited to what I can throw with this, then I think that's where the Stradic FM comes into place. Now, in terms of this one, if I'm throwing, if I keep this reel on just lighter rods that don't have a very heavy tip, I think this reel is the one that I want. But I do think the Stradic FM is a better one-all be-all. This is a workhorse. This is a really good reel for the price point, and so is this too as well. So again, you can't go wrong with either or. But I think the Stradic offers a little bit more versatility compared to the Tatula MQ. If light, if weight is your biggest thing, then that's when you really want to pick up the Tatula MQ. So it really is all preference, in my honest opinion. Again, there's not anything that I didn't like in this reel besides the fact that it didn't cast light lures as well as it did the Stradic. So just my honest opinion, take it for what it's worth. Again, I've had these reels for quite a while. This one for almost a year now, right about a year and a couple weeks here. And then this one I've had for about 5 to 6 months now. And I've used both vigorously over the last couple months. Catch them on sale, guys. I'm a huge advocate of making sure that you guys can find these things on a deal. Please don't pay full price for these things unless you have to, because you're buying it like brand new. But if you guys are looking at them now, you can find a lot of these on the used market. I mean, just on the other day, I found a 2500 size Tatula MQ, this exact model. Someone was selling one for 110. And it was basically like brand new. Probably had some line on it, but 110. So make sure that if you guys are shopping out there, get a good deal. If you aren't getting a good deal, hit me up. Let me know. I can give you guys some pointers on where to look, and that way you guys can definitely get some good deals on these reels. They have been out for a little bit of time now, so to be honest, there's no reason why you should be paying full retail for these reels. So again, if you are looking to get on these reels and you don't know where to start, let me know. I'd be happy to help you out a little bit. If you guys have any specific questions that I probably didn't cover, let me know. I didn't dive into all the details and specifics because I feel like this would have been like a 30-minute video. And again, that's not my thing to bore you on every little detail. I'm just giving you guys my honest feedback on these two awesome reels. They both will be staying with me. I'm not going to sell any of these reels. These are they have a special place for what I use it for. So this is going to be paired up and stay with my Medusa. Very, very awesome jerkbait setup. And the Stradic FM is going to be kind of my dedicated white bass, walleye, panfish reel. So just something to kind of, again, keep in my arsenal for what I like it for and what I'm going to use it for. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys like what you saw. If there's any comments, feel free to let me know. If you guys can, please do me a huge favor. Make sure you guys click that like button if you guys like the video. Click subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. It definitely does help support the channel. And I'll make sure to see you guys